ready? She got red on the end or
It's a
maroon?
Orange today.
Closest to maroon she had?
Yes.
Everybody ready?
What are the comments, Coach?
For me, this is one of those games, Porter and I are real good friends, so this is one of those games you always, I don't want my friends to lose. I want those guys to win them all when they're not around us. And Porter does a great job. He's got good kids, hard-working team. Coming off a tough home loss, I knew we'd get their best shot, and I thought they played their tails off. But I really commend our guys. You know, we weren't terrific in the first half. Thought we played pretty hard and guarded pretty well for the most part. But our offense was a little bit like it was at Evansville. We're trying to focus on working it a little bit more, and it really showed in the second half. We shared the ball. We shared it. We drove it. We got the free throw line. We had 5 guys in double figures, and I think we have a team that should be more like that. And I commend Devontae for doing what he's doing. He's going out of his way to try and do what we're trying to get him, our offense to do, sharing the basketball. So I'm really pleased for the most part. We got to go inside more, and Murph showed what he could do there. And on a side note, couldn't be more happy and proud for Christian Smith. About as good a kid as I've ever been around. Love him to death. Been so important to me personally and our program, and to accomplish what he did tonight, it's a special thing.
Questions?
Greg, you mentioned it. You know, the majority of the points he scored in that run in the second half were off of drives or post feeds. You ask for it all the time. You ask guys to throw it inside, and today you kind of got that evidence of what you guys can do when you do that. You know, just
Todd, the other thing is too, when you're quick, you know, that's when Devontae gets in trouble. You know, he goes too soon, or Brenton goes too soon, like Brenton did there at the end of the game. When you reverse the ball a couple times, the defense has to move. You can't keep Devontae in front of you. I mean, so he is trying. He's trying to give it up and move it. We're holding it a little bit too much, but when we get a couple ball reversals and move it and playing selfishly, we're hard to guard in the last 10 seconds of a possession. And now if we can keep throwing it in there like that, and it wasn't pretty right away with Murph being a little uncomfortable with the double team, but that's my fault. We didn't work on it enough. But when we did, boom, get right back out of there, get a wide open shot. Your driving lanes open up enough, and everybody guards us the same, so we're used to it. I thought the second half was probably the best offensively that we tried to do what we've been working on.
Brandon did struggle at times with the double team, but for the second game in a row, he did show some positive signs offensively down low. I know defensively he had some issues, but he's starting to get a little bit more consistent, do you think? I mean, is that fair to say?
I watched every day of practice and every game, and he'll be standing down there wide open, and we don't pull the trigger, you know, and I thought our guys did a little better job with it tonight. I don't know who would want to guard a 285-pound good athlete down there, so I don't care if we're playing against a 7-footer. You got to throw it down in there. He may get a shot block sometime, but that's got an accumulating effect throughout the game. And you're right, defensively, he's got to come more. I pulled him right away in the second half because when he's straight up and down and not using his athleticism, he's already undersized, so he's not using the advantages he has. He is a really, really good athlete. And you got to bend your knees and play on the balls of your feet and be more aggressive. And if he does that, we can get him to do that on a consistent basis. That'll really help the defense.
Does the light have to go on with some of the other guys to recognize what you just said? You know, he is big. He's a tough matchup for pretty much any post. And it seemed like that recognition is coming, but do they need to understand that that's a matchup that's favorable to you guys?
You know, our guys are unselfish, but throwing it in the post, it's not easy. You know, if you're hesitant in the slightest of making a turnover, and that's the way we are a little bit. Guys don't want to force it in there. They don't want to make a turnover, so they don't pull the trigger. When you catch it, if he's open, it's got to go in there, and it's got to go in there right now. And I probably get on them a little bit more than most on a turnover, so they don't get it in there right away, so they just want to pass it and move it or make their own play. They got to be confident and pull the trigger and throw it in there and not be afraid to have a turnover. We're not the best passing team in the world, but if the ball moves a little bit, it makes it a lot easier.
Coach Mosier talked earlier about how he wishes he had guys like Christian and Devontae that just lead the team and pick everyone up when you guys are down. So how important are they for you guys and for your success?
I mean, I'm going to say it all year, and this is a senior night that if I start thinking about it, I'll start choking up. Porter's right. I mean, he's a good friend, so we talk before the game, and I talk a lot about Christian and Devontae and how much I've known them for a long time. And They are two seniors that have done more on and off the court for this program than anybody else has. Not that others haven't done tons, but these guys are right up there with anybody. And people may get frustrated when just watching them play and seeing this or seeing that, but if you're around them every day, you love them as much as I do. These guys are invaluable with every aspect of the program. They are exactly what you want within your program with the type of people and the type of work ethic they have. I don't know how we're going to replace that. We got a lot of good guys on this team, but to bring what they do on a day in and day out basis, that's something special.
Greg, by the same token, you guys clamped down on Milton Doyle. He didn't score, which is the first time he hasn't scored in 2 years. You know, he's kind of their straw that stirs their drink, and you never let him get stirred, I guess. I mean, how big was that?
But first and foremost, he's a really good player, but he's unselfish. You know, I think he's a pass-first guy. He really is. He's a pass-first guy, and he looks for those guys. And I remember, I watched it again this morning just to punish myself, the tournament game last year. He just spoon-fed those guys, and they picked us apart with threes. So he's really good. I think he errs on the side of passing first. But then again, I think we've got three of the best perimeter defenders in the league, and you throw Everett in there with Christian and Devontae.
Big picture-wise, you didn't want to take an 0-2 record into a pretty tricky road trip up to Drake. You know, just address the importance of you know, getting back to 500 in the league.
Yeah, we lost to a team that's picked near the top, a team that's probably going to win the majority of their games at home, if not about all of them. We had our chances too. Now, we know we had our chances in there, and we think, you know, if we play our best for closer to 40 minutes, we got a chance to beat anybody. But it was important. You got to come home and protect home court. And then now, you know, we just held even. You know how I am on plus and minus. We have a chance to go on the road and get to +1. And you got to if you're going to contend for something, you got to get up there in the pluses. So can't give them away at home, and you got to go on the road and try to get some of them.
Coach, as important as, you know, getting the ball inside was today, talk about the importance of your guys not only being able to draw contact today, but the fact you're able to take that contact and translate it to free throw shooting. Yeah,
Devontae was going into the Evansville game. He's 20th in the country getting to the free throw line. He doesn't shoot one free throw. And, you know, you look at the free throw discrepancy there, I think it was more on us than anything else. You know, I think that we went too early. We didn't move the ball enough. We have to share it. You know, I'm big on the NBA and the Spurs, and I was reading in the stuff about Pop, who has the best offense in the NBA over the last 10 years. It's the Spurs, easy, and it's because it's about ball movement. We have good offensive players. We're going to start getting the free throw line more. We'll have less turnovers, and we'll get better three-point shots if we move it.
Anything else for Coach?
Happy New Year.